Alright, so that was ESP Chipsational. Check that out on our site, we have them in stock now. And I am joined by Dr. Will Houstoun. Now, it's just me here, but I'm going to clap. It sounds more when it reverberates, you see.
Felt awkward.
How are you, mate?
Very good, thank you.
Good. And I will just start by saying we go back a little way.
We do.
As shown earlier by the picture.
As shown earlier by the picture on your phone that should be seen by nobody.
I mean, Andy's hosting tonight. It might make it into your live, I don't know. It's up to you guys. It won't. He's told me it won't, but that's fine. Will, for those of our viewers that maybe are familiar with your name or haven't seen your style of magic though, and what can basically, if you don't know, Will's got a 2-night course. It starts tonight and it goes on for tomorrow night as well, and it's going to be covering
predominantly coin magic.
Okay.
So lots and lots of different coin stuff. Some tabled things, some in the hands things, some things using gaffs, some impromptu things as well. And I suppose the thing that perhaps runs through all of it is I quite like detailed things in magic. So it's all very well, I don't know, knowing how to do a matrix or a coin assembly, but I think there are lots and lots of little details, and each one doesn't make a huge difference to the trick, but if you put them all together, then it does end up making a big difference. So I want to look at a whole range of different coin tricks, but then also some of the details that I think can make a big difference in them, and also how I've moved through successive versions of a trick to finish with the one that I like best today, but looking at some of the other ones, the advantages they had, the weaknesses, and why I decided to change from one to another at the various points I did.
Brilliant. This is one, obviously I'm not here for it because Andy got this one, but this is one I am going to be watching back because not only do I love your style of magic, but the way you routine and structure things, it just flows beautifully each time. And I don't know if you're going to be touching on any of that, or maybe if you guys have questions you can ask about that, because that is what these academies are all about. They're about really going into detail on the things you guys want to see. But yeah, I mean, when I first really saw your stuff, it was Competition Act.
Well, absolutely, and I've been sort of digging through my drawers and memories to try and get some of that stuff back up to speed.
Right.
I did a few magic competitions a number of years ago. The Blackpool one when it was the European Championships of Magic, and I won that, and then FISM, which I didn't win, but hey ho, what can you do? And I thought it would be quite interesting to go over some of that stuff, because there are a few bits with dollars and Chinese coins, some changes that I've never talked about before that I thought I could share with you this evening if you join us, and also a little production vanish sequence, which again I've used in those competitions and the Magic Circles one, but not talked about elsewhere, so I thought that could be an interesting point to start a discussion.
Yeah, brilliant. And is there anywhere are they on YouTube, these competition videos?
I don't think they are.
You've got to see them, guys. If you can get hold of them and see them, they are beautiful. The lighter routine as well.
Yeah, it was in the International Magic Competition in 2005, I think, that I did that. So if they have a video, it'll be from around that time.
Yeah.
And Blackpool, I don't think have ever put videos out of their things.
No, I don't think so.
But you're looking for something from about that area, and happy hunting. I'd be intrigued to find if anyone does discover anything, because I'd quite like to see it, frankly.
Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, saying that, I think I have got an international, because they sold the competitions.
They did, yes.
So
absolutely.
I think I have your lecture from the international.
My goodness. That was the first lecture I ever gave. It was the first time I'd ever been on a stage in front of people, and the first time I'd ever talked in front of people.
Was it really?
This convention for about 500 people on a Friday evening. I was absolutely terrified, and they made a DVD of it afterwards. And Marco, who's a very nice man, did the editing of it. And I said afterwards that I thought it was good, but it was a great shame they didn't have some close-ups early on, because I think the close-ups would have shown how the moves were done a little bit more clearly. And he said they couldn't have any close-ups because in the close-up, the way my hand was shaking made it go out of shot and into shot the whole time. Because I had the shakes very strongly.
I'm not surprised.
Hopefully I've got rid of those in the intervening years, and there'll be no shaking and better camera angles this evening.
There will indeed, there will indeed. And I was very lucky to see these acts. You came out, how many weeks did you come out to Spain for?
I'm not sure, maybe a month or two, something like that.
And we got to hang out a lot, and I remember I got to see, every time you were on stage I got to see it, because I was either in the sound booth or I didn't do any of the stage stuff, I just worked the tables and did close-ups.
And the bar as well.
And the bar, and bar magic. But yeah, my fun was basically I got to sit and do the lighting and watch the magic. Which sometimes was an issue because I'd get drawn so much into the act that I'd forget to do a switch or something with the light. But you were working on a beautiful act there. I think that was that for Blackpool?
That was the same act I did in Blackpool.
Right.
So it was competition magic in the truest sense of the word, because I think I had about 20 kilograms of table for about 8 minutes of card and coin tricks. But I did want to be able to do it somewhere afterwards, and Rodney James Piper has the House of Illusion in Slough, which is a very good venue doing lots and lots of magic shows. Moved to a bigger place, I think, not that long ago.
I haven't been there, but it looks incredible.
Well, likewise.
Yeah.
Yes, and so I had a chance to spend 6 nights a week doing 2 shows a night there, doing this kind of competition stuff. I'm not going to talk about the bits that require you to have the table this evening, but some of the slightly more practical bits that do just require the cards and coins you would hope card and coin magic might.
Brilliant. Bert has said, will you cover any Akito coin box magic in your lecture? I don't know if that's your style. Or...
It's not particularly my style. I shall have a think, I suppose, between today and tomorrow evening's bit and see if there is anything useful to say. I guess if there are any particular Akito box-based plots, I may have something that relates to it. So if there's a particular bit aside from just the box that you're keen on, do let me know.
Yeah, and there was another one. What coins does Will use? I'm sure we'll get onto that because you are going to show a little coin trick for these guys in a moment. But I'm sure do you stick with the same ones?
Yeah, I roughly do. I use normally American coins and the old silver ones because I think they look nicer. Mainly $half and dollar size where I can because they add that little bit of extra visibility, I suppose. But also sometimes old English pennies, and there are a few tricks which I do want to have in an impromptu sort of fashion. So just being able to get a handful of coins from my pocket and know that I will have the things required for a trick is important. So there are a few things which I use English coins for, but predominantly $half.
And on the back of that, you probably get this question a lot. Do you have lay people ever question these coins because they're not things that they're familiar with?
I don't, and I think the reason I don't is because I tend to do magic in slightly more formal settings. So rather than sitting around with my friends in a pub and them not perhaps knowing that I do magic and then taking out these weird old coins, it tends to be something where people have come to see at least a magic show, and perhaps I'm part of that evening, or perhaps they've come to see me do a show, and so they know this is a show. They sort of expect that I know it's a show and I might have bought things that I think will be well suited to the show. So it tends to be the kind of place where it's okay to have props.
Sure.
And if it's okay to have props, I think it's okay to have nice coins.
Yeah, definitely.
As I say, there are a few bits that I do using any old handful of coins for that very reason. You don't want to be the person who's sitting in a cafe with your friends, they ask to see a magic trick, and then you wind up taking out a number of, I don't know, 1891 Morgan silver dollars. Or something like this.
Yeah.
But
no, it makes sense, definitely. And just very quickly before you do show us a trick, why coins then? Why so much focus on coins? Because you are amazing at it, but I know a lot of people go down the route of cards. I think it's an easier, not necessarily an easier route, but I know coins are very technical. I feel anyway.
I think you're right. I think there are perhaps a larger number of card tricks in total that I like, but the coin tricks that I like more than the card tricks I like. And I think coin magic also has a little bit of a bad reputation, perhaps, as you say, for being overly difficult and overly technical. And the reason is there are lots of card tricks you can do using mathematical principles, for example.
Right.
So there's a number of self-working, semi-automatic card tricks. You don't have to really be able to handle anything, and you can do something and it's great. With coins, even fairly basic things quite often require you to palm something or to switch something or to do a false transfer or something like that.
Yeah.
And those kind of moves are a little bit more brutal. It's not like a maths thing where someone goes, well, I don't really follow, but this is fine.
Yeah.
You know, they see the coin in your palm, that's kind of game over.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe coin magic has a slightly steeper learning curve than card magic does. But I like it very much nevertheless.
And you will see he's very, very bloody good at it. Roger Thompson has said, has Will ever used casino chips instead of coins?
Good question. I haven't. I have a little drawer full of them at home, which I've thought about using, and I did quite enjoy doing some of the flourishy, fiddly things that you see people do with chips.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's like a thing where you do like a one-handed riffle shuffle on the table, like the Charlie Miller one-handed table riffle shuffle, but with poker chips, and sort of spinning them around a stack. Those sort of things are quite good fun to do. But I never use them instead of coins, and I think it's because I've never been in a place where a casino chip means more. I think there are a huge number of places in the world where a coin, even if it's not a coin that you use, is recognisable as something that ties in with ideas of worth and value and has that cultural capital. And a poker chip, most of the places I've been, doesn't have that. I haven't been trying to do coin tricks alongside gambling material or something like that, where a poker chip would make a lot of sense.
Sure.
So I haven't. They are great to fiddle with. You can get lovely ones which feel very nice though, and of course they are a good way to have a go with gaffed stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can quite often get quite good quality gaffed poker chips far more affordably than you can get good quality gaffed coins. So
yeah,
I think if I were sort of starting again, I might well have a go with lots of gaffs using poker chips before choosing which ones I liked.
And I think, you know, if you were to I don't know, maybe look at another competition act, and you were doing a competition act that actually poker chips could probably lend themselves to a story quite nicely.
Well, absolutely, yes.
You know, so that's where you could maybe use them over coins, or yeah. I mean, I don't, but I don't do a lot of coins really, to be fair. But no, good question, guys. So, Will, we've got you here. It'd be rude not to ask you to show us something while you're here on the live, if you wouldn't mind.
Certainly. So perhaps I can show you one of the tricks that we'll be looking at, which is a trick which uses this piece of nothing. And give it a little squeeze, it develops into a large old silver coin. Now, tricks with one coin are all well and good, but perhaps you prefer more coins. If you do, there's a second one to join the first, and I think just up there should be a third coin to complete the set.
So good.
I know what you're thinking, too confusing, too many coins, so we'll go back from 3, a little blow, and go down to 2, and then from 2 perhaps we can get all the way back down to 1. Unfortunately, the last coin doesn't disappear, but it does do something similar. If I just squeeze it for a moment, it becomes very briefly invisible, but a second squeeze brings it straight back. Perhaps you preferred more coins. If you did, we'll see if we can get a few more. There's 1, I think, and perhaps we'll be able to find an extra one to complete the set. With any luck, there it is, the third and final coin.
Well, that is sickeningly good. I love that. That is amazing, and it's amazing to watch this close up as well.
Yeah. And even from that side.
Well, yeah, but I was actually watching the monitor as well.
It's very kind of you. Thank you.
Mate, I don't. I can't do that.
Okay.
Especially not exactly that. What you just did was, my mind's just kind of gone a little bit.
Yeah. There's a few fun little moves, but it's an interesting 3-coin Vanish production, and one of the things perhaps I thought I could talk about.
So you're going to go over that tonight. Obviously,
absolutely, yes.
Some people may be new to coins. If they are, is this still a good course to?
There will be more advanced things, of course, and certainly, as I mentioned, coins do have that steeper difficulty thing. But equally, there are a number of tricks which I think are quite simple to do and quite high in terms of the amount of effort you have to put into the reward you get. You get a very good reward for fairly minimal effort, and I certainly do want to talk about some of those as well. Because when I started, it was all about doing something as hard as possible. I wanted to do difficult moves well.
Yeah. And
having spent 10 or so years doing that, I've started to realise that actually, you know what, some of the much simpler things that I discarded because the moves weren't fun are probably better magic tricks, if the truth be told. So I'm certainly doing some simple things and some difficult things. And if you are a complete beginner, I'm sure there'll be something for you, and perhaps it'll also give you a little idea of some of the stuff you might want to look at as you carry on looking at coin magic, if you're so inclined. No,
perfect. Now, there was a question here. Now, obviously, we're not revealing on this because we are on Facebook, but the question was quite general, just sort of saying what were the angles like, on that. Now,
yes. So you would not want to do that trick with somebody sat where Dave is at the moment, unless he was being friendly and there was a convenient monitor that he could watch, and he was going to watch that and certainly not look at your hands.
Yeah.
But I would say, particularly if you were paying attention to your angles and you were worrying about them, you would certainly be good for 180 degrees, coming right the way out to your side, and perhaps a little bit further back. So sitting at a sort of poker table like this one, I would have no concern with somebody sat over on this side, somebody sat on this side and going around if I was sat in the middle.
Brilliant. And you've got a lot of love out there at the moment. Lots of people loving what you just did. James Tomlinson saying beautiful coin work there. So guys, this is just a small snippet of what you can learn on this 2-day course, which is starting this evening at 7 p.m. British time. So if you haven't got a ticket, be sure to grab one now. I'm sure Mark Cool, our good friend, will drop a link in so that you can go straight to the site and pick that up. And before I leave you, I just want to ask you a question. Now, you are a doctor of magic.
Yeah.
How did you become a doctor of magic?
Sort of luck, I suppose. I went to university, very briefly. I went to university, didn't really care for it. I studied mechanical engineering, did a master's degree. Then I went to work for Rodney for a summer in Spain. That was lovely. And then I did a little bit of lecturing, bit of teaching, more fiddling around with sleight of hand. And in the sort of intervening 2 or 3 gap years, I wound up writing a book about 18th century card magic and a book about 19th century magic lessons. Seemed fun, but certainly not an academic thing as far as I was concerned. Somebody said maybe it could be, and the idea was too good to pass up on. So I looked into it a little bit more, found a wonderful lady called Marina Warner, now Dame Marina Warner, who was willing to supervise and was very, very helpful in shaping the direction of my thesis, and then spent 4 years writing about 80,000 words about Professor Hoffman and his impact on magic and the way magic was taught in the latter part of the Victorian period.
Wow. Amazing. Now you're a doctor of magic. And your knowledge of magic is incredible as well. So I would say if you're joining in tonight and you have any questions in sort of the history of magic, this is your man right here. I know I can always sit down with you and always tell me 3 or 4 things. I'd always learn 3 or 4 things that I didn't know about various stages of the history of magic. And it is so interesting as well. So yeah. I'm sure after here we'll chat as well, and I could just sit here all day and watch his coin magic, but I can't because I need to get over there to where H is. But Will, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
For those guys, you're going to see him later. I'm going to watch it on catch up because I mean you just saw it, amazing. So it's only us here, but I'm still going to do the awkward clap out. It's Will Houstoun, everyone. So very good. And we're going to cut now to a video so that I can get back over with H. This is another one of the Collector's Workshop. Is it Collector's Workshop? Viking Magic, sorry, yeah. Viking Magic tricks that's come in. This is one we can't keep on the shelves. It comes in, it goes out. A lot of you may have it, but this is Badlands Bob. So let's take a look at that now.
David, many years ago in the Old West, there was a gambler called Badlands Bob. This is his prized possession.
Right.
He actually earned a fortune scamming people with this little prediction.
Okay.
And I'll show you, it sounds interesting, and it is very interesting. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is take hold of the dice. I want you to roll it a few times just to make sure that it's true and it's not landing on the same number all the time.
5-1.
And whenever you want, just stop. Okay, but keep going until